So, you good?
Yes.
Chairs are hard.
Specifically, these chairs are hard.
We've never really talked about it. We spend about 20 minutes figuring out how to set up these chairs.
There's a very specific distance.
We gotta be at this right height so he doesn't feel emasculated. Oh my gosh.
Welcome to Thanks for Watching. I'm Zach Toombs.
And I'm Lauren Zima.
And today we're talking House of Cards frustrations, of which we have many.
And we're also going to be talking about the new comedy, The Last Man on Earth.
Ah! Oh, yes!
Plus, Broadchurch is back for season 2 in America. It's been over in Britain for a while, but we've got it now.
Finally.
You want to know what takes real courage? Holding it all together when the stakes are this high.
House of Cards. He's finished it. I've got 2 episodes left.
Right, it dropped almost a week, well, about a week ago. 13 episodes, season 3. If you've seen the first few episodes, I promise you we won't
We're good.
say anything that spoils the real twists and turns that come in that latter half of the season.
Which there aren't many of. I think it's very telling that with this season, it's taken me almost a week to finish it. The last 2 seasons, I burned through both seasons in a weekend.
I mean, for a show that pioneered binge watching.
Yeah. I don't want to binge watch it. I'm bored. I've made a list of my frustrations anyway.
I've got them all up here.
Oh, wow.
The politics make no sense whatsoever. The politics on the show have never really made sense. This year they seem to just be rubbing it in our faces. If Frank really feels that way about entitlements like Medicare and Social Security, why is he a Democrat in the first place? Because it goes against the entire Democratic doctrine. He'd also be out of office like that. It would just be over. I can't believe how do they find 30 people to put in a room who support him in Iowa or New Hampshire, much less him, actually competing in those primaries or caucuses.
So the politics have gotten ridiculous.
Absolutely.
My frustration, the politics, because they're boring. It's so policy heavy this season, so much discussion of policy and negotiations that I am bored.
They act like it's like they're talking about policy, but they're talking about caricatures of policy that don't have any grounds in the real world.
But the worst part is it's boring. It's so much back and forth. Murder somebody in a car and you'll win me back.
A little more of a smile, please.
I'm making myself watch it.
This has always been a show that when the action was lagging, they just threw something weird in.
This is his big pet peeve
Last
for the
season,
show.
last season there was the Meacham, their Secret Service agent.
Threesome.
There's a threesome with
A Meacham threesome.
that just came out of nowhere and then was never really talked about for the rest of the season. This season, that strategy of throwing something strange and unrelated into the middle of an otherwise kind of dragging storyline has become all the more obvious, I think.
See, it bugs you. To me, I think that most of the time they're attempting to have that strange thing represent a larger theme in the episode. In the first couple episodes, there's a sex scene where Claire has been running and she comes back and Frank is crying and she mounts him basically.
Mount. That's really the best word for it. It just is.
It was quick and dirty. I was
Oh, God.
wondering about the sheer mechanics of the scene. But on reflection, I thought, okay, this is her healing Frank. They're always there for each other. And a little bit of a show that Claire is growing into her own power too.
This book that Frank is having written makes no sense whatsoever.
He
It makes
hates the
no
book.
sense. Thomas Yates. It's like he is some kind of proto Stephen King or something. This would be the equivalent if in 2009 Barack Obama was like, we got to sell Obamacare to the people. I know. We'll have Stephen King write a book about it. And I mean, one, would anybody want to read a book about a jobs program?
No.
I don't think so. And even if they did
Just
want to
a
read,
bad
even if
idea.
they did want to read a book about a jobs program, is that really the most efficient way to get your message out about a jobs
In
program?
2015, a book on paper.
And they presented it, they framed it as this incredible, aha moment for Frank, this epiphany.
We're murderers, Francis.
We're survivors.
Everyone going soft this season. I feel like To me, what was always interesting about the show in the past was that Frank and Claire were manipulating other people, and granted, the show did get the criticism that Frank didn't have any worthy adversaries, but that they were manipulating other people and always coming back to and relying on each other. This season, I've alternately at different points thought that both Frank and Claire were getting really weak and soft and boring, and it wasn't interesting to me. I would like them to have worthy adversaries, but to me, that doesn't mean that they have to get soft. Just find someone to give them a run for their money. Decision-making and support of each other of Frank and Claire has gotten to a ridiculous point to me. I knew that they were always about respecting each other, supporting each other, being on the same page, but it's like they both keep making very irrational, passionate decisions and then just being like, okay, let's move on and go with it. And I'm like,
It happened, okay?
Do you prefer or not?
What?
I feel like they're both trying to paint their relationship as more realistic, like give us a look inside their marriage, but also not make their marriage realistic, because no marriage operates like that you make decisions and move forward and don't have any issues with the decisions your partner's making. Spoiler-free frustrations. That's what this has been.
Hey, can I have a whiskey? You want a whiskey? Gary? Whiskey? You sure? How about you, Jimmy? No? Okay, well, does anyone want a whiskey? Huh? Greg? Kevin?
So Fox has a new show called The Last Man on Earth. Why do we have to say that in unison?
I love doing things in unison.
Well,
because we don't have to be the last man on Earth, and I think we should cherish that after watching this episode.
Will Forte stars in this, of SNL and MacGruber fame, of course.
I like the way you said his last name. Will Forte.
Sounds very...
Will Forte?
That as well.
Initially, it's really fun to see him play in the world of being the last man on Earth.
It's one big sandbox.
It really is. But
and so many good props.
So that's exactly what I said after I watched it, was the props on this show. There may not be people, but ma'am, the prop master on this show is a busy person.
They took the money for casting.
And put it in
like,
props.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a scene where there are multiple fish tanks stacked, and then he crashes into the fish tanks. And man, that's somebody's job. You know, I gotta go find a bunch of fish tanks today.
And it's not all bad. I mean, in the old world, I could never live in a house like this.
And these are Hugh Hefner's actual pajamas.
This is a genre that we've seen done so many times, whether you're on a desert island or it's some sort of post-apocalyptic scenario. But I can't think of many times it's been done in a humorous way.
In a comedic and not life-threatening way. You know,
Right.
Usually there are zombies.
Also some interesting commentary on Castaway.
I loved the ode to Castaway because it made you feel like you were watching someone who would operate how you would if this happened to you. Of course, the first thing you would think of would be Castaway.
And they take some of these, this show takes some of those cliches about being stranded on a desert island or being the last man on Earth and just takes them to a different level that is a bit more hyperbolic and just funny than we've seen them before.
Depressing.
Like he doesn't just have
Yeah.
one, volleyball that he names Wilson. He has like 25 different
Ping pong balls.
Yeah, ping pong balls that he's named like Diego and Max.
Right. I was at some points depressed.
Yeah, still rooted
Still
and
kind of a
I mean
downer.
tough to get over the fact that
He's alone.
the pilot was probably easier for them. Like I'm interested to see how they follow this up. I think the pilot is
It's the hook. I'm giving thanks.
I am as well. I give thanks. I'm interested to see where it goes from here.
You are charged with murder contrary to common law. The particulars of the offence are that on the 18th day of July 2013, you murdered Daniel Latimer of Forspring Close, Broadchurch, Dorset.
A show that we both love is coming back.
Broadchurch. It's back in the States. Season 2 has actually premiered and wrapped up in Great Britain already.
To me, this is yet another show of the Brits' power over us. They
Right.
dominated awards season. They're in all our movies, and
Now they're hogging all the good television for
yeah,
themselves.
and we're okay with getting it later. So Broadchurch had its premiere earlier this week, last night actually,
Yes.
Wednesday night. But neither of us watched it because you don't get BBC America. And because I have to say, I loved the first season of Broadchurch, but here are, I think, the two reasons why I did not make the time to watch the premiere. One, I'm a little worried about the second season, because the first season to me was all about solving the mystery.
Now, if you've been here 7 months.
When I came to Broadchurch. That's why I came to Broadchurch. I took the job so I could keep Claire safe here.
Not that I didn't like the characters, but I don't feel that invested in them.
Well, I will say I'll absolutely be watching. One, because it's set in Cornwall, and who doesn't want to go back to Cornwall?
You more obsessed.
2, because it was great television, and I have faith in them to follow up, even if, you know, they have to sort of come up with this new crime storyline in a town that's supposed to have no crime.
That was the whole thing. The town, it was this big shocking experience for this town because it was a town with no crime. But the town is Broadchurch. That's what the show's named after. Something else bad's got to happen.
And the third reason I'm returning, David Tennant's accent, because, I mean, that's undeniable.
Well, the second reason I didn't watch the premiere was, oh my God, I just forgot it.
You talked too much, as usual. I don't know what the mystery would be, and that...
Oh, I got it. See, I knew I'd get there. You know when you just have to retrace your brain steps? So the second reason that I did not make the time to watch the premiere is that it is a binge-watchable show. So I'm almost not sure if I want to watch it week after week on BBC America.
I want to wait until you have them.
I just want to wait until I have them all. Yeah.
I do want people to watch it.
Watch
I
Broadchurch.
always give thanks to Broadchurch.
Thanks to Broadchurch. Even though we haven't seen the premiere, we are excited about it. Thanks for watching.